Your name is Zoe, and you are a medical student that has survived the zombie apocalypse. You are now living in a military base that doubles as a refugee camp while you work on a vaccine for the virus that transforms humans into the undead, and things take a turn for the worse when a unique zombie with human intelligence, whose blood holds the key to creating a vaccine, manages to sneak into the military base to cause death and destruction. I'm going to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the zombies in Day of the Dead Bloodline. Before we start the video, I just need like 15 seconds to quickly advertise to you. Subscribe to Showsplanation so you don't miss future breakdowns of your favorite shows. We have a Patreon in the description that you can donate to support this YouTube channel. Don't forget to visit mebomber.com for cool and funny clothing. The website, mebomber.com, is in the description. Alright, back to the video. A group of medical students are tested on diagnosing the cause of death for a dead patient. The main character, Zoe, is a star medical student and is the only student that almost correctly diagnosed the patient's cause of death. Another student invites Zoe to attend an end of the semester party, which she declines in favor of doing work in the lab. While working, Zoe is interrupted by her professor, who informs her that an important regular patient of Zoe's has arrived to give his weekly blood sample. The man is special because the antibodies in his blood are 100 times normal levels. Zoe is reluctant to take his blood sample alone because the man is a creep who makes her feel uncomfortable. The professor dismisses her concerns and reminds Zoe of how great a career opportunity it will be for her to receive the complete credit for working on this man's case. Zoe reluctantly meets the patient alone in a hospital room to take his blood sample. His name is Max. Max tries to flirt with Zoe as she takes his blood sample, but she wants nothing to do with him romantically. Zoe tells Max nothing has changed. Like she told him before, she is flat out not interested. Max says that he is never going to give up until she gives him a chance. Max shows Zoe his arm that he cut her name into with a knife. Zoe is freaked out. Zoe's student friend shows up to help kick Max out of the hospital room. Max leaves the hospital room disappointed that cutting Zoe's name into his arm did not get the intended result that he desired. He thought it would somehow finally make Zoe interested in him. Zoe and her friend briefly discuss how weird Max is, and then decide to go to the end of the semester party that the medical students are holding. This is a huge mistake. Zoe and her friend are not taking Max's actions seriously enough. Body mutilation is a declaration of love for a girl that has repeatedly told him she is not interested is a symptom of mental illness and emotional instability. He could harm himself or Zoe at any moment. Zoe should immediately file a police report and file a restraining order against Max to punish and deter any future interactions from the guy. Then Zoe should inform the hospital administration of Max's actions, so he is reassigned to another hospital where he can give his blood samples in the future. And she should buy a gun for protection. A person that is crazy enough to cut your name into their arm is crazy enough to stalk and murder you. Zoe and her friend arrive at the party. Zoe volunteers to help retrieve a keg of beer kept in a hospital morgue refrigerator, which is super unsanitary by the way. Max, the crazy patient, enters the room as Zoe is leaving with the keg of beer. Zoe is shocked and scared. Max forces himself on Zoe and tries to take her clothes off. Zoe tries to fight back, but Max overpowers her. Max kisses and licks Zoe's face against her will, tells her they are soulmates, and that she is his property. Out of nowhere, a corpse in the morgue reanimates. The reanimated corpse attacks Max. Zoe runs out of the room and back to the party. Zoe, in a panic, tells everybody at the party to run away. There's a zombie walking around. A doctor at the hospital that's been bitten and infected by the zombie enters the party. The zombie doctor bites one of the medical students. The original zombie from the morgue enters the party and bites another student. More nurses and doctors that are now zombies enter the party and attack the students. Everybody is running for their lives. Zoe manages to escape out of a window and is the only survivor. 5 years passed since the first zombie outbreak. The zombie virus became an international emergency that wiped out most of mankind, and the zombies are called rotters. Zoe survived and is one of the few people to make it to a refugee camp. She is employed by an intelligence and recon station that gathers data on rotters for the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention. It's been a year since her group has heard from headquarters, and even longer since they've seen a survivor, so things are not looking good. Zoe is in the laboratory looking at zombie blood samples to create a cure. Zoe is interrupted by a concerned mother whose daughter is sick. The sick girl's name is Lily. She's suffering from bacterial pneumonia, and the military base doesn't have the proper medication that Zoe needs to effectively medically treat her. The leader in charge of this military base is Lieutenant Miguel Salazar. Miguel does not like Zoe. He thinks a cure for the zombie infection is impossible, and that Zoe's wasting everybody's time and resources on pointless research. Zoe interrupts a security meeting that Miguel is holding. Zoe requests an expedition be made to retrieve the necessary antibiotics from a nearby university hospital for Lily, the sick little girl. Zoe went to this university hospital for medical school before the zombie outbreak occurred, and it was abandoned, so she's confident that the medication for the little girl can be found there. Max refuses Zoe's request. The hospital is too far away, and he believes the risk is not worth the reward. Then Max approves her request after Zoe tells him that Lily's bacterial pneumonia is highly contagious and is guaranteed to be spread throughout the entire refugee camp. Even if the little girl is quarantined, many will die if they are not proactive in solving this. Zoe packs supplies for the expedition to the university hospital that will be happening tomorrow morning. This is a big mistake. Zoe is the only doctor in the entire military base. The military base is not even sure if they are the last group of humans on the planet, since they have not heard from their headquarters in over a year. That means if Zoe dies, another doctor is not just going to magically fall from the sky. And no doctor in your military base means injuries and illnesses become a death sentence. All it takes is one undiagnosed contagious disease to wipe everybody out. Zoe being the only doctor around means her life is too valuable to risk on dangerous expeditions in a zombie apocalypse to university hospitals to retrieve medication. Zoe should remain in the military base protected 24/7 by armed guards, because if the only doctor dies, sooner or later everybody dies. For the greater good of humanity, Zoe's time should be spent transferring her medical knowledge to other refugees. Plus, there's a limited amount of professionally trained soldiers left. You don't have the resources to waste trying to train refugees to be competent soldiers. For example, how are you going to train people to accurately shoot a gun without wasting the limited number of bullets left in the military base? So this may sound harsh, but the correct decision is to expel the contagious sick little girl from the military base to be killed by zombies. The little girl does not contribute to the survival of the refugee camp, but the doctor and soldiers do. Zoe and some soldiers head out the next morning to make the dangerous supply run. One of the Humvees they are driving breaks down. All the soldiers get out the vehicles and set up a security perimeter while someone tries to fix the Humvee's radiator. The soldiers panic after hearing the sound of a large group of zombies approaching. Luckily for them, the Humvee's radiator gets fixed just in time for them to drive away from the oncoming zombie horde. The group arrives at the university hospital. They split up, leaving some soldiers to protect the Humvees, while the others go inside the hospital with Zoe to find the medication. The group makes it to the pharmacy room, and they take all the drugs that they need. Zoe sneaks away from the soldiers as they are leaving to secretly investigate the hospital's epidemiology room. Without permission, she wants to retrieve materials and some of her old belongings from back when she was a medical student in this building. While inside the room, she's attacked by Max, the creepy patient from the beginning of the movie that was obsessed with Zoe and tried to force himself on her. Max is now a zombie, but because his immune system is special somehow, he's only a partial zombie, which means that he is not fully transformed and has kept his human intelligence. Zoe runs away and Max chases her. The loud commotion caused by Zoe trying to get away from Max the zombie attracts the attention of the other zombies in the hospital. The soldiers hear the noise, notice Zoe is missing, and run back to find her. The group is attacked by zombies and they shoot their way out. One of the soldiers is bitten by a zombie, so he's going to die and transform into the undead soon. Essentially, Zoe going rogue and sneaking away from the group to accomplish her own secret agenda got the group attacked and cost the soldier his life. Zoe must be held accountable and punished for her actions, or you risk broadcasting to the community that certain people receive special treatment and that the rules don't apply equally to everybody. Basically, not holding her accountable may help sow the seeds of dissent and resentment for the governing body of the military base. Also, if you don't hold Zoe accountable for her actions, you risk influencing others to think that they can get away with insubordination, or just go off and do their own thing when they feel like it, or jeopardize a mission and the safety of others around them for their own personal agenda. The soldier that was bitten and infected by a zombie sacrifices himself and holds off the remaining zombies so the rest of the group can escape. The group gets to their Humvees and drives back to the military base. They arrive at the military base. Turns out Max the zombie hitched a ride by hanging onto the underside of one of the Humvees and is now inside the military base. The wife of the soldier that just got killed by zombies in the hospital and Miguel are pissed off and tell Zoe that they blame her for his death, since it was her idea to go on the mission in the first place. Max the zombie crawls out from under the Humvee and into some bushes to hide while he spies on the people living in the military base. Max attacks a soldier that wandered off alone. After infecting the soldier, Max sneaks inside a building. Max crawls into the building's air vents. Zoe gives some medicine to the sick little girl. Max spies on Zoe from inside the air vent. Zoe kisses a soldier she is dating, and Max the zombie is furious as he watches from the air vent. A random man crawls into the air vent because he thinks he hears rats, but it's actually Max crawling around in there. The man gets attacked by Max. A woman notices blood dripping from the air vents. She opens it up and a dead body falls down. She runs away screaming. Max the zombie attacks the woman before she can reach other people to tell them about the dead body she just saw. Max confronts Zoe when she's finally by herself in a hallway. Zoe is shocked at seeing the zombie and then runs away. Max chases after her. Zoe pushes a button on the wall to activate the alarm system while she runs away. Soldiers pull out their guns and head to the medical wing, where the alarm was activated. Max finally catches up to Zoe and corners her. Max shows Zoe his arm with her name cut into it with a knife. Zoe finally realizes the zombie is the same Max guy from back when she was a medical student. She then questions how a zombie has the intelligence to recognize people. Max grabs Zoe and attempts to force himself on her again, like he did over 5 years ago. Soldiers show up with guns and shoot Max. Zoe tells the soldiers not to kill Max because he could be the key to creating a cure to the zombie virus. The soldiers chain Max up to a wall in the same laboratory that Zoe uses to conduct her research. This is the biggest mistake in the entire movie. Even chained up, the zombie still poses a threat for those that get within range of its arms or mouth, which surprisingly happens a lot in this movie. What if the zombie manages to escape its shackles? You should completely eliminate the threat of violence or escape that the zombie poses by first amputating its legs at the knees so it can no longer walk. Then amputate all the fingers off the zombie's hands so it can no longer grab objects or scratch people. Then remove the teeth from the zombie's mouth so it can no longer bite people. And remove the zombie's eyes so it can no longer see. In this handicapped state, Max the zombie would pose zero threat of violence or escape. Miguel shows up and yells at Zoe and the soldiers for not killing the zombie and asks what's going on. Zoe tells Miguel that she needs Max for her zombie cure research. He's not completely zombified and is some kind of human-zombie hybrid. As proof, she mentions how Max did not bite her when he had the chance, which is something zombies always do. Somehow his brain is still working. Miguel does not believe Zoe and tells her to prove it by sticking her arm next to the zombie's mouth. So Zoe puts her arm up to the zombie's mouth and Max does not bite her. Zoe proved she is telling the truth. This is a big mistake. There are much safer ways that Zoe could have proven that she's right about Max, like using a small animal or a dead human body, or risking the life of a very evil prisoner to test if Max would bite. And why have they not removed the zombie's teeth so it could not actually bite even if it wanted to? Zoe gives a speech to a skeptical Miguel about how studying Max the zombie's blood could be the key to a vaccine for the zombie virus. The other people in the room side with Zoe, and Miguel hesitantly lets the zombie live so Zoe can do research on it. Zoe and her assistant conduct their research and discuss their findings and plans in the same room, right in front of Max the zombie. This is a big mistake. It's been established that Max has an unknown level of brain function, hence why they are studying him to discover how he's so resistant to the zombie virus. So conducting research and discussing their results and plans directly in front of Max gives him information that he can use to potentially plot against them. It's like being a prison guard, discussing in front of an inmate every detail about the who, what, where, when, and how in regard to the prison's operations. This just gives the prisoner the information he needs to mentally prepare and plan an escape. Then Zoe breaks the rules once again by getting dangerously close to Max to collect a blood sample while not following the proper safety protocols. Zoe was close enough for the zombie to literally lick her face. The more I analyze the movie, the less Zoe looks like a hero or good protagonist, and the more she comes off as a self-absorbed dimwit that thinks she's invincible and that the rules don't apply to her, even at the expense of the lives of everybody around her. Nearly everybody's death so far has been the direct or indirect result of Zoe's actions and her not caring about rules, from the soldier dying at the university hospital to Max even having the opportunity to sneak on the Humvee that was riding back to the military base so he could stalk Zoe and kill other people. Yet despite this fact, Zoe is portrayed as the good guy, and people like Miguel that don't like Zoe are portrayed as the bad guy. In my opinion, Zoe's actions make her a villain. Zoe's soldier boyfriend shows up in the lab to bring her lunch. She is alone in the laboratory conducting research with a chained up zombie just a few feet away from her, which is dangerous enough. But then Zoe kisses her soldier boyfriend in front of Max the zombie, who she knows is obsessed with her. Seeing Zoe kiss the soldier visibly agitates the zombie, causing it to yell and briefly struggle against its chains. Zoe updates her soldier boyfriend on how her research is coming along, and then she tells him she needs living zombies to collect virus samples for her research. Her boyfriend is against allowing more zombies into the military base. Zoe argues that it's necessary for her research. Her boyfriend caves in and proposes that they could use the doors of the gates surrounding the military base to funnel zombies in one by one to capture them for Zoe's research. Her boyfriend organizes other soldiers to begin the mission that same night without Miguel's approval. This is a big mistake. It's not smart to perform dangerous missions such as this at nighttime when there is less visibility. Darkness dramatically reduces the distance that you can see and react to approaching hazards. And zombies have repeatedly been shown roaming around during the day, so there's no reason to conduct this operation at night. It's also a mistake to risk the lives of everybody in this military base by opening the front gate to let zombies inside one by one, when you could limit the number of lives you put at risk by just sending soldiers outside to capture zombies and then have them return with the necessary samples. A team of soldiers and Zoe head to the front gates. They open the gate to let in the first zombie. They shoot the zombie's legs and use a catch pole to capture the zombie by its neck. Zoe gets a blood sample from the captured zombie. The soldiers struggle to hold the gate closed as a group of zombies attempt to force their way in. After Zoe got the blood sample that she needed from the zombie, a soldier kills it. Zoe says she needs just one more zombie blood sample, so they repeat the process by opening the gates to let one more zombie through. The soldiers holding the gate closed are overwhelmed by the zombies pushing the gate open, and the zombies finally bust through. Some soldiers shoot at the zombies to keep them back. A few soldiers are overwhelmed and bitten by the zombies. The remaining soldiers manage to get into their vehicles and drive away. One of the soldiers driving a vehicle is bitten by a zombie, which means it won't be long before she transforms into a zombie as well. Miguel enters the laboratory looking for Zoe. Zoe is not in the lab, so Miguel decides to taunt Max the zombie. Miguel sees Zoe's name carved on the zombie's arm for the first time. Zoe has not explained to anyone the rocky background she has with Max the zombie, so Miguel, after seeing the zombie's arm, thinks Zoe is protecting the zombie because he's her boyfriend and not because it is the key to a zombie virus cure. At that moment, Miguel gets an emergency message that zombies have broken into the base. Zoe and her group of soldiers did not get Miguel's permission before they opened the front gates to capture zombies for blood samples. So once again, Zoe breaks the rules, causes the death of soldiers, and threatens the safety of the entire military base. If I was Miguel, the commander of this military base, at this point I would be considering executing Zoe. I don't care if she's the only doctor around. Her insubordination is going to one day get everybody killed. The group of soldiers by the gate race inside the base while they are chased by a horde of zombies. The soldiers manage to close the military base's steel doors before the zombies can get inside. Miguel notices the soldier that was bitten by zombies is bleeding. Miguel raises a gun to the wounded soldier's head, planning on killing her before she transforms into a zombie. Zoe defends the wounded soldier and tells Miguel to put his gun down because they have time to save the soldier. A bite on the hand takes longer for the zombie infection to spread. Miguel shoots the infected soldier in the head anyways. An angry Miguel then points his gun at Zoe before the other soldiers talk him down from shooting her. Miguel walks away in anger, promising to kill Max the zombie in 12 hours. Vaccine or no vaccine. Zoe's soldier boyfriend follows Miguel back into his office to have an argument with him about pointing his gun at Zoe. They are brothers. Miguel responds that he thinks Zoe is a liar, the vaccine is nothing but an empty promise, and that he thinks after seeing Zoe's name engraved on Max the zombie's arm that she's keeping him alive because that's her boyfriend. The soldier boyfriend confronts Zoe about her relationship with the zombie and demands to know why her name is carved in Max the zombie's arm. Zoe explains that the zombie when it was human was a creepy stalker that tried to force himself on her back when she was a medical student. She says she didn't tell anybody earlier because it brings up negative emotions when she thinks about what happened or talks about it. I hope I don't sound insensitive about the trauma that can be caused by another person attempting to force themselves on you. But when you are in a situation where people are dying because of your decisions, and there is a growing number of people that don't trust you or believe in your research, why on earth would you think it's okay to hide information? Or even think that you could get away with hiding information about the history that you have with the captured zombie in your laboratory that has your name freaking carved in its arm. Zoe heads back to the lab to conduct research. Soldiers come to the lab to bring Zoe a drink. A female soldier randomly decides to walk right up to Max the zombie to taunt him. The zombie lunges at the female soldier and she backs up in fear. The female soldier points a gun at the zombie in retaliation and threatens it. Max the zombie manages to grab the female soldier's neck because she is too close, and the zombie slams her head into the wall, causing her to drop her gun. A male soldier jumps in to force the zombie to let go of the female soldier. The zombie manages to steal the key to his shackles from the male soldier's keychain without anyone noticing. Do not keep the keys to a prisoner's shackles just dangling off your body in plain sight where they are easily grabbable. Plus, all this could have been avoided if they just removed the zombie's appendages and eyes like I recommended, so the zombie would be physically incapable of choking anybody or stealing keys in the first place. The soldiers leave the laboratory to get medical treatment for the cuts and bruises that they got from tussling with the chained up zombie. Zoe walks right up to Max the zombie and tells him how much she has always hated him. The zombie says Zoe's name. Zoe is surprised that the zombie can talk. Zoe tells the zombie that he is nothing but filth. The zombie tells Zoe, "You are mine." Zoe goes back to conducting research. The zombie keeps interrupting Zoe's work by screaming her name. Zoe flips out and accuses the zombie of trying to distract her on purpose because she only has a few hours to find a cure before Miguel pulls the plug on her research. There is no way the zombie could have known this. He was not present when Miguel, the leader of the base, gave Zoe the ultimatum that he was going to kill Max the zombie in 12 hours after Zoe's idea of opening the perimeter gate to capture zombies for her research resulted in more deaths and threatened everybody's safety. Once again, Zoe's giving the very smart zombie more information that he can use to plan and plot against her. The zombie gives Zoe an evil smile. Zoe goes back to conducting her research. Zoe gets excited and calls her soldier boyfriend to the laboratory because she just had a breakthrough in her research and thinks she's finally figured out the key to curing the zombie virus. At the same time, Max the zombie has escaped his chains and is behind Zoe. He used the keys that he stole from the male soldier earlier. All this could have been avoided if they just removed the zombie's legs, fingers, teeth, and eyes, like I recommended, so the zombie would be too handicapped to pose any threats of violence or escape. Max the zombie grabs Zoe's neck before she can react to his presence behind her. While being choked, Zoe grabs a bottle of ammonia and throws it in Max's face. The ammonia severely burns the zombie's face and he lets go of Zoe. Zoe runs away and stumbles upon soldiers in the hallway to help her subdue the escaped zombie. The soldiers pull out their guns and run to Zoe's laboratory. The zombie is not inside the lab. They activate the alarm system. Soldiers get prepared for a fight. Zoe decides to break away from the group of soldiers that she's with to go find and ensure the safety of Lily by herself, which is the sick little girl with bacterial pneumonia that Zoe helped earlier in the movie. This is a big mistake. Zoe is the person that Max the zombie is obsessed with and ultimately wants to capture. Zoe separating from the group of soldiers is exactly what the zombie wants. What the military base should do in this situation is use Zoe as bait to capture the zombie. Place Zoe alone in a room to attract the zombie, and when it shows up to confront her, that's your opportunity to trap and capture it. Zoe does not find Lily in her room, so she searches the facility for the little girl. Lily is wandering the hallways alone. Lily stumbles upon her mom, who is now a zombie. Lily runs away screaming and her zombie mom chases her. A soldier stumbles upon Lily and gets on his knees to ask the little girl what's wrong. He's immediately attacked from behind by the zombie mom. The little girl is in a corner crying. The zombie mom slowly walks over to eat the girl. Max the zombie sneaks up behind the zombie mom and snaps her neck, thus saving the little girl. Max is planning on using the little girl as a hostage to lure Zoe into a trap, which is what I said the military base should do, by using Zoe as bait to lure Max into a trap. The only smart person in this movie seems to be a zombie, which is kind of sad. Zoe stumbles upon the bodies of a few dead soldiers while looking for Lily, and borrows a gun from one of the corpses. That means up to this point, Zoe has been running around alone, searching for a little girl without a weapon when a zombie is on the loose that's after her. The levels of stupidity that characters in this movie display is off the charts. Zoe finds Max the zombie, and he's holding the little girl hostage. Max refuses to let the little girl go, and says that he came here for Zoe. Since Max is obsessed with her, Zoe puts a gun to her own head and threatens to kill herself if Max does not let the little girl go. Max panics, screams no, and begins squeezing the little girl's neck to get Zoe to stop. Zoe puts the gun down. Max drops the little girl and quickly grabs Zoe before she can react. The little girl runs and hides behind a vehicle. Max drags Zoe away by her hair. Max opens the exit door to escape the base with Zoe, and they are quickly attacked by zombies hanging around outside the door. Max defends Zoe from the other zombies. The leadership at this military base should have had the foresight to station some soldiers to protect the base's entrance/exit doors in case Max the zombie tried to escape. A group of soldiers arrive and begin shooting at the zombies. A zombie finds the little girl in her hiding spot behind a vehicle, and the girl decides to run outside to escape, which is where the zombies are coming from, and which puts her in the line of fire of the soldiers shooting at the zombies. Miguel shoots Max in the chest, allowing Zoe to escape the zombies' grasp. Zoe sees the little girl running outside and chases after her. Max runs outside to chase after Zoe. Some soldiers get eaten by zombies. Some zombies make it into the safety area where the civilians are gathered, and the soldiers defending the area fight back. Some civilians get eaten by zombies. Zoe's soldier boyfriend gets bitten by a zombie. Miguel manages to close the door to the base. Zoe's boyfriend and Miguel have an argument about leaving the door closed with Zoe and the little girl outside. Zombies come out of nowhere and attack both of the soldiers. Miguel has his stomach ripped open and his organs eaten by zombies. Zoe's boyfriend manages to save himself and shoot off the attacking zombie. Zoe's boyfriend is the only person left alive in that room, and he's been bitten multiple times by zombies, so he doesn't have much time left before he transforms into the undead. He opens the door to chase after Zoe. Zoe catches up to the little girl. They hide from the zombies together in a greenhouse. Max the zombie sees them from outside the glass windows. Max enters the greenhouse to capture Zoe. Zoe leaves her jacket on the table for Max to find. Zoe pops out from a dirt box that she buried herself under next to her jacket, and she stabs Max in the back with a knife. Max's organs fall out his body from the stab wound that Zoe gave him. I'm not sure how a single knife stab to the back causes your entire digestive system to fall out of your body, but whatever. Anyways, Max is severely weakened and immobile due to his organs spilling out of his body. This is the perfect opportunity to recapture him. Beat the zombie over the head with a nearby object until it's unconscious. Then you can drag his body back to the laboratory. Max is still alive despite all of his organs falling out of his body, and then he tells Zoe that she is his property. Zoe cuts Max's head off with the knife in a single slice, like some kind of samurai warrior. So, half this movie was Zoe refusing to let the soldiers kill Max the zombie because she needed him alive to produce a cure for the zombie virus. And then she ends up killing Max in the end, after almost everybody in the military base is killed, directly or indirectly because of her decisions. I cannot wrap my mind around how Zoe is supposed to be the hero protagonist of this movie. She should be a villain. Zoe's boyfriend puts a gun to his head because he has lost his will to live. Almost everybody has died, and he's going to turn into a zombie soon. Zoe shows up just in time to stop her boyfriend from killing himself. Zoe tells him there's hope and to please trust her. She believes her vaccine can still stop the transformation. He puts the gun down. Zoe tests her vaccine on her boyfriend. It works. Zoe has successfully created a vaccine for the zombie virus. The military base is rebuilt, kids are playing, Zoe and her soldier boyfriend are holding hands, and it's supposed to be a brighter future thanks to Zoe's vaccine. Hooray! I guess all the chaos and death Zoe caused is instantly forgotten because the vaccine worked out in the end. Yippee! And that's the end of the movie. But what do you think? What would you do differently if you were Zoe or one of the other survivors? Let me know with a comment down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more of these kinds of videos. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you liked the video. Until next time, have a great day.